Hello and welcome StarCraft 2 viewers to another StarCraft 2 cast for the LPS Last Player Standing StarCraft 2 Open number 2. My name is Kopo and today I'm going to bring you a game between Kerchi, our blue Zerg in the top right hand corner, also known as BboongBboongPrime, or something along those lines is how you say it, and MaNNErCHOMP spawning as the purple Terran in the bottom right hand corner. Today map is GSL Crevasse again, game 1 of this series. This is another best of 3 for the round of 16 in the LPS StarCraft 2 Open number 2. Again, I think it might be the final series, or maybe the second last series we're casting, as we are finished after the round of 16, and I do believe Doa takes over after us. So we'll try and give you our best casting for the last couple games here, as I'm sure they will be action-packed and fun-filled. Obviously, Kerchi, BboongBboongPrime, is a well-known Korean player, I do believe. MaNNErCHOMP's not a player I've heard of, but I'm sure he's obviously quite skilled to get to this point in the tournament. So we'll see how this game progresses here. You see the Terran dropping his first supply depot over at the front of his ramp, intending some sort of wall off, obviously walling off against Zerg. Definitely the best idea. SCV is going to scout exactly where he is right away. So we're going to be MaNNErCHOMP's going to have full scouting information right off the bat. See exactly when that pool goes down, or hatchery, depending on the tech choice in question. You see refinery before barracks from MaNNErCHOMP, obviously indicating some sort of tech. We have seen that actually quite a bit in the last couple weeks, and especially in this tournament, as we do see Blue Flame Hellion openings becoming much more common, as are some Banshee openings that are starting to make their way back. FPS dropping a little bit here, guys. Hopefully it doesn't stutter too badly. You see a hatchery going down in the base for Kerchi, at that little nice expansion up here. Not a full set of minerals and only one Vespian Geyser, but incredibly easy to take and very easy to secure as well. Barracks going down at the front to help complete that wall off. Obviously, it's destructible debris, helps make this ramp temporarily a little bit smaller to wall off. But as the game progresses along and we reach the mid-game stages, that debris is usually destroyed quite quickly, allowing the ramp to be opened up for further engagements. Spawning pool has been dropped for Kerchi. Not going to try and get too greedy by over-droning too much and fall into early pressure. So he is dropping that spawning pool to get some lings out for early defense. This one refinery has been fully saturated. We'll see what the Terran player chooses to do with his gas. He might decide to go for a Tech Lab reactor, or obviously the much more common factory opening, which he does have enough for both right now, and we do see the factory being dropped right there. To complete this wall off, I do believe nothing can get past that, and if it can, I'd be very much mistaken. SCVs are scouting around, grabbing minerals from places that aren't theirs. I don't really know what he's got going on there. Overlord does see this all going on. Not really sure what that was all about, but I'm sure there was a purpose behind it. You see a reactor going down on this barracks, likely being switched over for the factory, unless we see some Marine play. Whether I see Marines or Hellion play, obviously. Supply depot coming up here to finish the wall off, which apparently was not complete earlier. And an orbital command coming up, almost completed for MaNNErCHOMP. You see 2 queens being produced by our Zerg player, and his first gas, I do believe, is now just being taken at his expansion, so he has done this all gasless up to this point. Obviously, Zerg can get quite far in the early game with only minerals. Not needing gas really. That's why it's so easy to fast expand gasless, as Zerg, obviously known as, popularized by Spanishiwa, doing the gasless fast expand. Do see this factory moving over to the reactor, so we're going to see some Hellions pumped out of that. No blue flame, obviously the lack of a tech lab prevents that from happening. Creep spread has been started by Kerchi, trying to get that map vision out there, map hacks for the Zerg. He's got overlords everywhere. Zerg going scouting around, trying to see if anything suspicious is up over here. Maybe the Terran's taking a base. Definitely something to note that the Terran did not take his fast expansion over here. He very well could have and tried to keep even with the Zerg on bases, but instead he allowed the Zerg to get that base up. Didn't do much about it, or hasn't done much about it yet, and decided not to take one of his own, so we should see if that comes into play later. You see basically only drones being made for the Zerg player. He does not scout much early aggression. He does drop a spine crawler just in case, as these lings are out here chasing this SCV away from these mineral patches. As one ling stays behind, all his brothers left him. What a shame. More Hellions being produced here. Doesn't quite have enough minerals to be producing fully out of that reactor factory. It is being kind of produced out of fully, but not really. Command center being dropped now at the expansion, but significantly far behind what the Zerg player has been doing, so that economic advantage should kick in for the Zerg at some point. Creep spread continuing out and onwards. We do see Hellions poking up here. You can take that tower, make sure nothing's going on at that tower, kill anything that's taking that tower, as they do have that ability, and they're going to be scanning around the map, killing anything taking this tower to try and eliminate the Zerg's map control with those Elnaga towers. And they should move in here, but 2 queens are very well placed, blocking the ramp as well as the spine crawler, which will root right back there. and basically prevent any sort of damage being done here. Hellions can try and attack that queen, but actually that will be very ineffective, as queens do not take much damage from Hellions at all. Hellions are still queued up though, rallied onto their buddies up front. I don't know if this is going to be an effective harass though, as it's destructible debris plus these queens are able to block off this ramp, no problem. See if the tech switch does go down, and it appears to be going down as the barracks is placed back on the reactor. Second barracks being produced, and the factory appears to be landing with the tech lab add-on. See if siege tanks are made out of that, or if some other choice is made available. We do see no SCV transfers gone down yet, even though those command centers completed. Hopefully we'll see that sometime in the future. Orbital command is going up. There is another queen. Do believe this is creep spreading queen. Yes, he does only have 3 queens on the field. Hellions are up here trying to attack this debris, but it will take them probably years to get through that, as they don't do a lot of damage versus those rocks. You see a siege tank being made for the Terran player out of that factory with Tech Lab. These Tech Labs take almost no time to build, so that Tech Lab did get up and going nice and quickly. Hellion manages to sneak in, sees almost nothing before he's poked to death by the Spine Crawlers and mauled by the Zerglings, which are going to move out here and try and attack these 4 Hellions, maybe try and get a surround, but Hellions are quite good against Zerglings. So this might be a bit of a mistake. They're going to turn around and get a couple shots on, but if the Zerglings get a surround, they'll kill it quite quickly. Hellions back up to the corner trying to prevent that surround. The Zerglings are actually doing quite a bit of damage. He lost quite a few, but he's also taking significant damage to his Hellions. Third one falls, last one will go down, I'm sure, in time, as these Zerglings are poking away at it. Actually, this might be a close battle. That Zergling does go down before it kills the Hellion, and that Hellion manages to remain alive, I do believe. Yes, he's going to take this tower just as a final... you. 2 barracks have been dropped now, another factory going down here. We do see a dual tech labs on these barracks. Obviously, probably Marauders, I'd have to assume. Ghosts and Reapers don't seem to be likely to come out of those. Might see some switching going up too, but we will likely see Stim researched. Zerglings are going to try and poke up here. They're going to see basically a force. Good raise on the supply depot there. The Zerglings could have run in, but they chose to attack this force head on instead and didn't do a whole lot of damage as a result. Stim does get started for the Terran player. See back at home, the Zerg has done amazing creep spread. Actually, it's just lacking this destruction of the debris here, which I'm sure he'll get on quite quickly. And he is keeping up on his larva injects as you would expect of a player of this caliber. He does attack his own destructible rocks, trying to give him more access and allowing his units to move more freely between the bases. I'm sure he'll expand probably here in the fairly near future. Creep spread is still quite good as it is by most Korean Zergs. I do believe he is Korean, and if he is, and if he isn't, he's definitely spreading creep like a Korean. Definitely the way they seem to be doing this. Starport is going down now finally for the Terran player as he built a tech lab on the factory. We'll see, looks like Siege Tank, he's not exactly taking advantage of these barracks with their tech labs outside of doing the research, combat shield and stim, but he isn't building Marauders, so it looks like you're going to see Marine Tank out of MaNNErCHOMP, which is quite a standard composition against in all matchups for Terran. Creep spread is popping, these creep tumors are numerous, and actually this creep's getting quite far out. The Terran player is unable to prevent this, as he does not have really any map control at all. This Hellion did go down at some point, or he just moved. No, that's a Zergling over there, so he may have just moved over. But more likely he died. Probably the one Zergling that just came in there and ruined his day. Burrow is being researched by our Zerg player, seeing if he might be able to burrow some lings. I don't see any roaches, which are usually the best unit to burrow, besides infestors, of course. So we'll see if he switches up his production a little bit. Do see 4 Mutalisks are in production. Spire obviously went up at some point. Baneling Nest as well, but I don't believe he's made any Banelings. If he has, I obviously missed the Morphine, but I just see a giant pack of Zerglings. Melee attacks 2 and flyer attacks 1 coming down for the Zerg player, as well as a whole bunch of drones. Yeah, he's basically free to drone up at will, and that will allow his economy to basically be rolling much faster than the Terrans, as the Terran is still currently stuck on basically 1.5 bases with a little bit of a supply block there. I'm sure that'll be rectified by these 2 supply depots coming in right now. There we are. Fixed quite nicely. Stim is almost completed, but I don't believe he's going to try and hit that timing, as he does not have a very big force to deal with what the Zerg has. Meters are going to come over, only 4 of them though. I might try and do a bit of harass there, but there's a missile turret up here, and I do believe the Terran is fully aware this is going down. Starport here is building a reactor, so we'll see some medvacs, quite likely, or maybe some Vikings to go Overlord sniping. Command center coming down here for the 3rd base for the Terran, as me just swinging around the side, maybe trying to catch this undefended expansion, but there is a missile turret here, well placed actually, so Kerchi might be forced to turn around and go back. Do see tanks are sieging up here on the ground, low ground. Scans going down to try and kill off some creep tumors, as this creep is getting dangerously close to the Terran base. Meters are going to be able to try and pick off these tanks, but the Marines are going to stim back and try and kill them before they do too much damage. They did manage to kill the SCV building that command center, so I'll have to bring another one down to finish that job up. This army not looking too devastating by MaNNErCHOMP, obviously. He's sitting a little bit weak in that department. Banelings and Zerglings here, be able to take out a good deal of that, as well as the mutas might be able to catch a tank or two undefended. Siege tanks do siege up though, just in case something's incoming, as the mutas are going to try and come back and catch them, but they do actually run right into a Pakistan Marines, and that's actually, he lost 2 mutas there, almost a third. So that was actually a little bit of a misclick by Kirchi, but he's going to try and bring those mutas around to do some additional harass. As the Terran player moves up, kills creep tumors, scans, and will probably retreat after this. I don't imagine he'll do a lot of damage here. It'd probably be unwise for him to actually run right into that, although he is trying to siege up. Down on the low ground, moving Marines forward. Scan goes down, trying to kill anything burrow, but here come the Banelings. The Banelings are going to roll right in and do a huge amount of damage, basically kill all the Marines. They do kill all the Marines, and these Zergons are going to be able to run in outside of this pack here, but those are melted quite quickly. And these tanks do manage to survive with a couple Marines and a medvac. Actually, that was a poor engagement by Kirchi. I don't think he really thought that one through quite well. The Baneling control wasn't the best. He did manage to kill most of the Marines, but the siege tanks were left alive to deal damage. Mutas come in, trying to kill the rest of the Marines so they can go to town on the tanks. Marines trying to stay alive, but they don't manage to do so. A couple more Marines stream in. They're basically fodder for the mutas now, as single Marines aren't very good against mutalisks. These tanks are going to be forced to retreat back home. Missile turret going up here, trying to kill these mutas, as they are actually being quite pesky. Going to kill off the medvac, I do believe. There we go, and a tank, and they'll likely get this tank as well, and there it goes. That basically was most of the Terran's army, unfortunately, for MaNNErCHOMP. He did lose that engagement quite badly, mostly due to the mutalisks coming in afterwards when the Marines were not quite rallied up there yet. We do see a bit of a force moving out by the Zerg player. Terran player hasn't had much of a chance to remax yet, although he is sieging up his tanks. He does have a decent size of Marines here. Hopefully he managed to catch his mutas off guard, as MaNNErCHOMP is behind and he needs a little bit of a kick to get himself back in the game. He's going to try and attack this mineral line with these mutas. There's 2 missile turrets here, forcing the mutalisks to turn around and try a different attack path. You see SCVs moving down to transfer to the 3rd base. Marines are going to stim up, but they're going to be blocked by their own buildings by the looks of it. This terrain is actually quite useful for mutas to try and navigate around, as there's lots of level differences, making it difficult for ground units to catch up to them. Creep spread has been retreating ever since the creep tumors were killed. Not something that Kirchi's managed to re-get, although he is still expanding out this way, as he did have creep going in 2 directions, and this creep will eventually reach from the other direction, the same location as the other creep was. See a hatchery going down here at this base, trying to take himself a 4th, I do believe, as 3 bases have it up and running for quite a while. This expansion is running low on minerals. His main is running quite low on minerals, so he needs to take that to make sure he's still got some income left. Marines loaded up in the medvac. We'll see if we see anything out of that. Maybe a clever drop. Marines that were stemmed. I don't really know what that was all about. He's dropping Marines, obviously. Maybe that was a misclick. Baneling speed is done. Is going to roll in here, and actually they're going to decimate a great chunk of the force. Zergan's going to run in to clean up his tank, and that was a huge loss for MaNNErCHOMP, and this Zerg army is just going to keep streaming in here. 1 tank siege up and a couple Marines won't be able to take this out at all. Mutas come in, and that's GG for MaNNErCHOMP. He's about 60 supply behind at this point, and everybody leaves the game. Recognizing that the game was over, obviously. MaNNErCHOMP did a great job of trying to deal with bling muta force that the Zerg player was pulling out with some Marine tank, but unfortunately he did not have enough Marines really to deal with these head-on, and they were able to pick off the tanks that were going to be the main damage dealers against the ground army. So that's been game 1 of the series, guys. I'll be bringing you game 2 in a few short moments here. We'll see if MaNNErCHOMP can try and bring this back to tie the series, or if Kirchi, also known as BboongBboongPrime, manages to take this series 2-0 in the round of 16 for the LPS Last Player Standing StarCraft 2 Open number 2. This has been Kopo. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the cast, and I will see you guys later.